grade 9 learners. Welcome to Arts 9, Quarter 4, Module 2. I'm Teacher Oliva to guide you in this lesson, different Western classical plays and operas. In this lesson, you are going to identify the elements and principles of arts manifested in Western classical plays and operas, and to design the visual elements and components of selected Western classical theater plays and opera of the different art periods. Get ready, prepare your module, pen and paper. To start with this module, you are asked to answer the items below to determine how much you already know. Read the given statements carefully and encircle the letter which you think is the correct answer.
Number 1. The actor, which means answerer, is called blank. A. Hypocrites. B. Hypocritus. C. Protagonist. D. Villain. Number 2. He is the father of the theater design in the Philippines. A. Ricardo Abad. B. Salvador Berna. C. Francisco Balagtas de la Cruz. D. Severino Reyes. Number 3. It was the most admired type of play. It dealt with tragic events and had an unhappy ending, especially one concerning the downfall of the main character. A. Comedy. B. Satyr drama. C. Theater. D. Tragedy. Number 4. It is a play with a short, light-hearted tale piece performed after each tragic trilogy. It contains humorous elements to lighten the overall mood of a serious play with a happy ending. A. Comedy. B. Pastoral. C. Satyr drama. D. Tragedy. Number 5. He is one of the famous Greek tragedy playwright who adapted portrayal of mythical heroes as common people in his dramas. A. Aeschylus. B. Euripides. C. Sophocles. D. William Shakespeare. Number 6. A play which features character like shepherds, shepherdess, forest and woodland deities like nymphs and satyrs in an idealized countryside setting where life is simple and complete and people live close to each other and to God. A. Comedy. B. Pastoral. C. Satyr drama. D. Tragedy. Number 7. He was considered the father of tragedy. He was also the first to introduce plays in trilogy forms. A. Aeschylus. B. Euripides. C. Sophocles. D. William Shakespeare. Number 8. It is a musical drama in theatrical setting. The characters will sing and dance with the accompaniment of an orchestra or small groups of musical instruments. A. Comedy. B. Theater. C. Opera. D. Play. Number 9. Balagtas Florante at Laura was published during his release in blank. A. 1838. B. 1840. C. 1856. D. 1862. Number 10. William Shakespeare was known as blank. A. Bard of Avon. B. Father of Comedy. C. Father of Tragedy. D. Child Prodigy. Number 11. The opera that tells the story of the downfall of Don Jose, a naive soldier who is seduced by the charms of the sizzling gypsy, is called blank. A. Antigone. B. Carmen. C. Romeo and Juliet. D. Walang Sugat. Number 12. Severino Reyes, a Filipino famous playwright, is also known as blank. A. Father of Zarzuela. B. Father of theater design. C. Father of poetry, Balagtasan. D. Father of opera. Number 13. The unique characteristics of Commedia dell'arte, which is an expressive babble talk between performers. A. Facial expression. B. Gestures. C. Chromalat. D. Mask. Number 14. It is described as a dramatic works that put characters in a lot of danger in order to appeal to the emotions, and in which orchestral music or song was used to accompany the action. A. Melodrama. B. Moro Moro. C. Opera. D. Zarzuela. Number 15. Greek theater began as part of festival celebrating what Greek god? A. Aphrodite. B. Apollo. C. Dionysus. D. Zeus. Get ready to check your answers. The pre-assessment key answers: number 1, B. Number 2, B. Number 3, D. Number 4, C. Number 5, B. Number 6, B. Number 7, A. Number 8, C. Number 9, A. Number 10, B. 11, A. 12, 12A, 13C, 14A, 15D.
Now that you have finished answering what I know, you have a short review about theater arts. Read the 2-paragraph text for you to recall your past lesson.
What's in? Theater began from myth, ritual, and ceremony. Theater arts of the Western countries produced and performed in different periods, and that had great influence from the ancient Greek and Roman theater art. From your previous lesson, you have learned the theater history. Its famous Theater of Pompeii, Medieval Theater, Renaissance Theater, Baroque Theater, Neoclassical Theater, and Romantic Theater. Also, you have learned how elements, arts, and principles of design were applied in the architectural design in the different eras.
Let's move on to the next part of your module. In the given puzzle, find and encircle the 10 words listed below that are related to Western classical arts. They may be arranged in vertical, horizontal, diagonal, or reversed manner.
What's new? Number 1, satyr. Number 2, tragedy. Number 3, comedy. Number 4, Sophocles. Number 5, staging. 6, prologue. 7, gromalat. 8, reversal. 9, mask. 10, costumes.
At this juncture, you are going to read the discussion in your module in What's in It. Take note of the important words or details.
What's in it? Western classical plays and operas started during the Greek civilization, and it was the seat of many things. These include philosophies, art styles, political systems, and drama, which are still used nowadays. Greek play or drama evolved and flourished not only in Greece but also in the Roman Empire. With the passing of time and era, drama and other theatrical forms became famous. Forms of entertainment around the world from Renaissance to Romantic period. Modern theatrical plays and operas are still influenced by their predecessors. Theater art is called the art of staging a play or drama. Theater also refers to the building designed to hold plays and dramatic performances. All the arts are found in theater, such as singing, music, acting, painting, dancing, and literature. Greek plays and opera forms of drama or play. W5-8.1 Tragedy or Tragodia. An ancient Greek play which may have started in celebration of Dionysus, about the failure and tragic end of the protagonist. The protagonist does not necessarily die in the end, but sometimes undergoes misfortune, pain, and suffering. The Greek actor is called Hippocrates, which means answer, who answers the questions of the chorus. 3 plots in a play. A. Reversal. Reversal plot or peripeteia happens when an event looks like developing in a path, then changes direction. It is like having a good ending and yet reverses to a bad ending for a hero. A classic example is Oedipus' short-lived happiness hearing about the death of his foster father Polybus, which will turn out to disaster. Letter B. Recognition. In Greek, anagnorisis, which means knowing again or knowing back. When an event from complete ignorance turns into total awareness of something, the tragic hero has horribly committed a mistake. An example is when King Oedipus has learned that the man he killed on the road was his real father, King of Thebes. Letter C. Suffering or pathos is when the tragic hero or heroine commits suicide or suffers painfully from mistakes, fate, or wrath of the gods. An example: upon learning that he has killed his true father and married his own mother, Oedipus gouged his eyes and banished himself from Thebes. Basic structure of a Greek tragedy. Number 1. Prologue. The introduction of the play. Number 2. Parodus. The song sung by the chorus as it approaches the passageway to the orchestra. Number 3. Episode. A short section of the drama that builds parts of related series of events. A tragedy composed of series of episodes. Number 4. Stasimon. Choral ode. A lyric poem composed of complex stanzas. Happens at the end of each episode when the characters exit the scene. Number 5. Exodus. End of the drama or play. 3 famous Greek tragedy playwrights. Number 1. Sophocles. He is an ancient Greek tragedian. He competed in almost 30 drama or play competitions, won 24 times, and never ranked lower than second place. He wrote around 123 plays, but only 7 survived over time in a complete form: Ajax, Antigone, Oedipus Rex, Electra, Oedipus at Colonus, and Philoctetes. The most famous tragedy of Sophocles was Oedipus. Number 2, Euripides. He wrote more than 90 plays in his lifetime. He won only 4 competitions. 18 of his plays have withstood time. Euripides' contribution to drama or play includes the portrayal of mythical heroes as common people. His works include Medea, Hercules, and the Trojan women. Number 3, Aeschylus. He wrote 90 plays, of which 7 still survive. He introduced several characters in a play to create conflict among the actors. He was also the first to introduce plays in trilogy forms. Some of his surviving plays include The Persian, 7 Against Thebes, The Suppliants, The Oresteia, Agamemnon, and The Libation Bearers. Theatrical elements. Number 1, genre. Tragedy. Number 2, characters. 1 to 3 characters only, but they can portray other characters. Chorus consists of 12 members, all of whom were identical. Chorus consists of 12 members, all of whom wear identical masks. Oedipus, a cold mask with exaggerated deep empty eye sockets. Antigone and Ismene, white face, dark under the eyes, and sad looking. Creon, brother-in-law of Oedipus, mad or angry facial expression with crown. Number 3, masks. The use of masks acts to advance the universality of the themes and the dramatic impact of the events, and to keep the audience from being distracted by the actual physical attributes of the actors. So those are the masks. Number 4, gestures and movements. Facial expressions was of no importance to Greek actors, since they were always wear mask. Number 5, music. Sophocles also used the chorus at the beginning of the play to help tell the audience the given circumstances of the play. Chorus did a lot of lamenting of terrible events. Number 6, costumes. Men wore loose floor-length poncho with pleated shoulder, while female wore draped robes. 7, staging. The Parthenon's facade has the design of Ionic order columns with cornice and molding on the top, elevated by 5 step risers at the center, and a platform in front near the audience. Number 8, spectacle. Everything that is seen or heard on stage, actors, sets, costumes, light and sound effects. Elements or principles of Greek play. Actors, festivals, voice, facial expression. 3 actors in tragedy. Add 5 actors in comedy. Festivals: Lenaya, Dionysia, Dionysus. Voice: the delivery, declamatory. Facial expression: facial expression is not important because music, venue, audience. Movements: conventionalized or symbolic gestures like those in mimetic dance. Music: the musical accompaniment for drama is played on a flute. Venue: auditorium on the slope of Acropolis, which is panoramic landscape. Audience: the spectators standing or seated on the slope of Acropolis. Audience: the spectators standing or seated on the slope of Acropolis. The audience could express their opinion noisily. The high points of each festival: the awarding of prizes. 8.2 Comedy. From the Greek word komoidia, was also performed in the Dionysia festival. Komoidia is from the Greek word kom, meaning party, and oid, meaning song. 3 stages of comedy. Number 1. Old comedy. Tackles political and social issues and concerns, also called political comedy. The chorus was an important part of the. Number 2. New comedy. Tackled human relationships. The chorus was no longer important part of new comedy plays. Number 3. Middle comedy. 3 important comedy playwrights. 1. Cratinus. 2. Eupolis. 3. Aristophanes. Made humorous plays about current politics and public figures. He oftentimes showed funny and crazy solutions to the problems encountered by the characters. 8.3 Satyr. Earliest form of drama based on records. It is play with a short, light-hearted tale piece performed after each tragic trilogy. It contains humorous elements to lighten the overall mood or a serious play with a happy ending. Renaissance play and opera. Characterized by the return of classical Greek and Roman arts and culture. Morality plays. The protagonist possesses moral attitudes, choosing a godly life over evil. Public theater was developed like the commedia dell'arte and the elaborate mosques. 3 major forms of drama during the Renaissance period. 1. Comedy. copied from the classical Greek and Roman drama, evolved to Italian subjects, setting, and structure. Number 2. Tragedy. Evolved from Greek and Roman dramas. 3. Pastoral. Started in Italy. Features characters like shepherdesses, forest and woodland deities like nymphs and satyrs in an idealized countryside setting where life is simple and complete, and people live close to one another and to God. Number 1. William Shakespeare. He was an English poet and playwright, widely known as the greatest writer in the English language and world's preeminent dramatist. He's been known also as the Bard Avon. His existing works consist of about 38 plays, 154 sonnets, 2 long narrative poems. Shakespeare's plays: A. Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare's most famous tragedy and one of the world's most enduring love stories. B. A Midsummer Night's Dream. C. Merchant of Venice. D. Much Ado About Nothing. E. As You Like It, and others. Tragedies and tragic comedies: A. Hamlet. B. King Lear. C. Othello. Theatrical elements. Number 1. Staging. 3 levels of stage. A. Discovery scenes. The main stage area with doors at the rear and a curtained area at the back. B. Heaven. An upper canopied area for balcony scenes. C. Hell. An area under the stage which could be accessed through the trapdoor in the stage. Number 2. Props. May vary depend on the scene or act that the characters are going to perform. Number 3. Characters. The agents of the plot provide the motivations for the events of the plot. Number 4. Costume. So you have the costume for Juliet, Romeo costume, Lord Capulet. And then the costume for Lady Capulet, and then the King. Costume for the Queen, Princess, and Knight. Number 5. Music. Chorus sets the scene. introducing the play or act and giving the audience background or other information. The chorus often appears as the prologue. Number 6. Gesture and movement. Use facial expressions, voice, tone, and body language. Romantic theater. During Romantic period, melodrama and operas became the most popular theatrical forms. Melodrama can be described as a dramatic work that puts characters in a lot of danger in order to appeal to the emotions. Orchestral music or song was used to accompany the action. Famous playwright George Bizet. Composer and arranger. He was a French and pianist of the Romantic era. He is best known for his opera Carmen. Symphony in C major. George Bizet's first symphony. It was a delightful work of 17-year-old boy George Bizet. Carmen. Opera. One of the world's most popular operas. It was performed at the Opéra Comique in Paris, in France on March 3, 1875. The opera was in 4 acts with written music by the French composer Georges Bizet. The libretto, written by Henry Milhaud and Ludovic Helvey, was based on a novel of the same title by Prosper Mérimée. Elements of Romantic theater. 1. Staging. Genre: opera comique. The opera is a fascinating drama of love and jealousy, filled with famously alluring melodies and captivating dancing. Costumes. 3. Music and video. Refers to the speaking, dancing, and singing part. Famous Filipino playwrights. Playwright is also known as a dramatist, a person who writes plays. Francisco Balagtas. His best-known work is Florante at Laura. In 1835, Balagtas moved to Pandacan, where he met Maria Asuncion Rivera, who served as a muse for his future works. She is referenced in Florante at Laura as Mare, or Celia, and Mare. Severano R. Reyes, a playwright. He is the father of the Tagalog zarzuela. He was born in Santa Cruz, Manila on February 11, 1861. In 1902, Reyes founded and directed the Grand Compañía de Zarzuela Tagala, Walang Sugat. Dr. Ricardo G. Abad, a director. He was born in Manila on August 10, 1946, of parents from Cavite and Camigan. Camiguin. Dr. Ricardo G. Abad, a director, born in Manila on August 10, 1946, of parents from Cavite and Camiguin. He has been involved as actor and director in over 120 productions. He has also directed and acted for professional companies like Teatro Pilipino and Tanghalang Pilipino of the Cultural Center of the Philippines and the Metropolitan Theater. Many of his theater productions were classics of Western drama. Salvador F. Bernal, National Artist Awardee, father of theater design in the Philippines. He was born in 1945 to a family that ran a Terno shop. He was the first to develop theater design as a profession and elevate it to an art form. He had designed more than 250 productions in ballet, theater, and film.
This time, you are going to start answering Assessment 1 for 5 minutes, then Assessment 2 for another 5 minutes.
Assessment 1. On the table below, list the elements of Greek, Renaissance, and Romantic theater. Assessment 2. In this part, compare and analyze the uniqueness of the Greek and Renaissance play using the elements of theater art forms that were given recognition for their performance. Now on the last column, Oedipus and Romeo and Juliet are both tragic. So you are going to compare in terms of music, gestures, movements, costumes, makeups, props, and uniqueness as tragedies.
Since you have finished answering the 2 assessments, you are going to match the items from column A to column B by writing the letter of the correct answer.
Column A, Romeo and Juliet. Number 2, Severino Reyes. 3, Stage. 4, Anagnorisis. 5, Old Comedy. Under column B, you have there A, walang sugat. B, means knowing again or knowing back. C, called political comedy. D, it has discovery scenes, heaven and hell. E, the famous world's most enduring love story.
Next is for you to accomplish the task in What I Can Do. You are asked to create or design costumes, props, and stage design of the Renaissance play Romeo and Juliet and costume and props of the Filipino play Florante at Laura based in these modern times. There are 2 choices to take on this part. If you have gadgets and can access internet, you can use apps to create a design and submit it to me via messenger, email, or any means of communication. If you do not have gadgets, you can draw or illustrate in a long bond paper. You are guided by the given rubrics.
So you have there technique and variety, 5%, visual design, 5%, craftsmanship, 5%.
Now is the time for your assessment. Write the letter of the correct answer on your paper.
Number 1. What type of Greek play was serious with a moral lesson? A. Comedy, B. Pastoral, C. Satyr, D. Tragedy. Number 2. Greek theater began as part of festival celebrating what Greek god? A. Aphrodite, B. Apollo, C. Dionysus, D. Zeus. Number 3. What types of Greek play told stories of everyday life and made fun of Greek celebrities? A. Comedy, B. Pastoral, C. Satyr, D. Tragedy. Number 4. Balagtas, Florante at Laura was published during his release in blank. A. 1838, B. 1840, C. 1856, D. 1862. Five. He's been known as Bard Avon. A. Francisco Balagtas, B. George Bizet, C. Sophocles, D. William Shakespeare. Number 6. He is a Filipino famous playwright who is known as the father of Tagalog Zarzuela. A. Ricardo Abad, B. Salvador Bernal, C. Francisco Balagtas de la Cruz, D. Severino Reyes. Number 7. George Bizet's First Symphony. It was a delightful work of 17-year-old boy George Bizet. A. Carmen, B. Ivan IV Grand Opera, letter C. Le Pursuit de Perle Opera, D. Symphony in C major. Number 8. He is called the father of theater design in the Philippines. A. Ricardo Abad, B. Salvador Bernal, C. Francisco Balagtas de la Cruz, D. Severino Reyes. Number 9. Romeo and Juliet's genre is blank. A. Comedy, B. Pastoral, C. Tragedy, D. Satyr. Number 10. The opera that tells the story of the downfall of Don Jose, a naive soldier who is seduced by the charms of the sizzling gypsy, is called blank. A. Antigone, B. Carmen, C. Romeo and Juliet, D. Walang Sugat. Number 11. It is a musical drama in theatrical setting where the characters will sing and dance with the accompaniment of an orchestra or small groups of musical instruments. A. Comedy. B. Theater. C. Opera. D. Play. Number 12. He is the brother-in-law of Oedipus. Mad or angry facial expression with crown. A. Crayon. B. Laius. C. Polybus. D. Tiresias. Number 13. A period where gestures and movements were of no importance, since actors and actresses always wore masks. A. Greek. B. Baroque. C. Renaissance. D. Romantic period. A play which features character like shepherds, shepherdess, forest and woodland deities like nymphs and satyrs in an idealized countryside setting. A. Comedy. B. Pastoral. C. Satyr drama. D. Tragedy. Number 15. Everything that is seen or heard on stage. A. Costume. B. Gesture and movement. C. Spectacle. D. Staging. Answer key for post-assessment. Number 1. D. Number 2. C. Number 3. A. Number 4. A. Number 5, D. Number 6, D. Number 7, D. Number 8, B. Number 9, C. Number 10, C. 11, C. 12, C. 13, A. 14, B. 15,
enrich what you have learned, you are tasked to create or design your own mask for the Greek play Oedipus. Use any recyclable materials found at home. It may be plastics, cardboards, and others. Encourage your family members to help and contribute in the conceptualization of your task. Please be guided again by the given rubrics.
Criteria: authenticity 5%, visual design 5%, craftsmanship 10%. 5 points if you designed own style in creating mask. The overall work is interesting and appealing to the eyes. The artwork is proficiently done, informative, neat, complete, durable, and quality. 4 points if there is a unique, creative style in producing the mask. The overall work is quite interesting and appealing to the eyes. The artwork is creative, neat, complete, durable, and quality. 3 points if there is a definite style in making masks. The overall work is pleasant to the eyes. The artwork is quite creative. It is neat, complete, and presentable. 2 points if the style is copied from most styles. The overall work lacks visual appeal. There are unnecessary details and incomplete parts. Artwork is not durable. 1 point if the style is undeveloped and paint application is incomplete or lacking. The overall work is unorganized. The work look untidy and incomplete.
Congratulations! You are done.